All right, who has seen this picture that I posted on Instagram, which by the way, got a pretty decent amount of likes, but the video where I showed you my brand new car when I bought my Nissan GTR just a few weeks back. Now I promised in that video that I was gonna make one breaking down the financial purchase of this vehicle. So that is exactly what we're gonna be doing here today. Stick around. Again. Let's touch on this subject. I want to first explain a little bit about the car, my plan with it, and go more into depth. I know I talked about it a little bit in the R8 video and the GTR video. So if you haven't seen those two vehicles when I bought both of them, which I mean I bought like one day and then 2 days later the other one, those cars for me are in the same exact category of like my purpose for it. So the way I see the GTR, it is an amazing daily driver. I'm going to talk about my personal preference on the vehicle in a minute, but that car is something where it has trunk space, which is different from a lot of my cars to say the least. You could theoretically fit people in the back seats. That's more so what I use my BMW for, but it has more space. It's a great car. It's comfortable. I could see myself taking it on a little road trip if I needed to go somewhere a few hours away. So that car specifically, I have a lot of friends with them. It's been a really cool car to have. I'm going to talk about where it is, why it's not here, and why I can't show it to you right now. But this whole topic of how much I'm spending on a daily driver and the financial end of it that we're going to talk about in this video, the reason it's so important is because if you know how to do this right, you can put yourself in a very fun, very fast car for technically $0, okay? So that's what we're going to touch on. So again, for those of you who don't know, a lot of the ideas for my content, besides the stuff that gets requested from people in my DMs on Instagram or in the YouTube comment section, a lot of the ideas are just things, and this is why it's not hard for me to come up with video ideas. It's like, wait a minute, what did I want to know 3, 4, 5 years ago that wasn't available? And I never saw anything like this. So I'm gonna talk about the financial end of it, why I did certain things, and how it makes a lot of sense. So first of all, compare the Nissan GTR versus a Nissan Sentra, okay? Your more standard, like it's a sports car, you know, very fun car. I guess, I don't know if the GTR is technically a supercar, but the GTR versus your standard Nissan Sentra. If you were to go purchase a Nissan Sentra brand new and compare it to the vehicle that I purchased, the same deal, you are going to lose your ass on the Sentra way more than you will on the GTR. And I'm going to talk about a few variables that are very different for every car that you have to think about, but this is what's known, and this is the first thing we're going to talk about in this video, as depreciation. So before we get into it, you saw the title, I spent how much on a daily driver, and there's more to the expenses of a vehicle than just the purchase price. So I bought that GTR for $48,000 flat, okay? For those of you who don't know the background of the story, I was gonna buy it for $49,500 about 2 months ago when I was in London, but the owner didn't wanna sell, blah, blah, blah. I think he was in a little bit of a financial pickle. I don't know him personally. Ended up purchasing the car last minute 2 months later, which was a couple weeks ago, for $48,000. Great, that car is worth low 50s, okay? So I already know I'm coming out ahead. Now, similar with buying a car as when you buy real estate, you typically make your money on the purchase. Now you close out on the profit when you go to sell it, but if you don't buy it correctly, it becomes very hard to make money. So I left myself in a position where I could very easily go make $3,000 to $5,000 on this car, no problem, at any time. I could sell that car. My plan for it, by the way, is just to drive it for a few months and have fun. Now, I'm gonna get into, again, my personal opinion on the car later in the video, but now if you consider a Sentra, which I believe retails around $30,000 to $40,000, that car is gonna be depreciating very heavily. You're gonna lose like $7,000 to $8,000 minimum in depreciation on that first year. So if you're buying it new, you're constantly getting clipped. Now, when you go and buy a used car, like the GTR was used, you're buying something that might be a certified pre-owned or something of that nature, you can get a car that isn't really gonna depreciate a lot. Now, I'm gonna talk about deal hunting and finding really good deals later in this video, but there are two primary expenses that you need to factor in with any car you're gonna purchase. So this is what I had to do, which was a huge, huge expense to think about on my Lamborghini. I had to think about it on the Audi R8, and I had to think about it on the GTR as well. Now those two expenses are insurance, which is never fun, and then potential maintenance, repairs, and upkeep of the vehicle. That would consider and include things like new tires for your car, an oil change, a full service, fixing something that gets broken. Let's say your air conditioning goes out. Now, for tires, I just put 2 days ago, I put 2 new tires on my BMW M4 in the rear. It was $633 for both of those, everything done. And that's with a hookup price. The shop that I did that through is a great friend. They made no money on it. Normally that would be about $850. So still, boom, $633. You want to go get it serviced? I just got the Lamborghini serviced. It was about $2,900, again, with a crazy hookup. Normally it would be $7,000. It's ridiculous. New tires on the Lamborghini, you're looking at like $800 a tire. So these expenses add up, and there's wear and tear on the cars. Now with your Nissan Sentra, your oil change, you can go anywhere and it's $20. Whereas you're looking at a full service on one of these other cars for at least a couple $100s. So your expenses quickly add up, and then on a vehicle that might be a sports car or a supercar, your insurance is going to be sky high depending on your driving history, your age, and things of that nature. But it is undoubtedly going to be higher than a regular vehicle. So just consider the upfront purchase price. Now again, I bought the GTR for $48,000. My insurance on it, if I remember correctly, I did it at the same time as I did the R8, so I might have a mixed. One of them is like $800 every 6 months, which is like $120 a month or something, and then the other one is $1,100. I think the GTR was like, it comes out to like $120 a month, which is great. The only reason it's that inexpensive, which for me is a great price compared to the other cars, is because I have other cars. It's listed as a secondary. Now the GTR and the M4 for me are the daily drivers. These are the things that are more comfortable. I can fit stuff if I need to go to the grocery store. They're a little bit more useful, to say the least, on something like that. So let's touch on the finding the deal piece, because that's really what this video comes down to, is why I spent this much on the car. First of all, and this might piss some people off. I'm gonna get people in the comments who are all upset, but it's okay. If you're a GTR person, I apologize. It's a great car, but in my opinion, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like the car. I wasn't a huge fan of it before I bought it. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I'm gonna talk about the deal I found in a minute, but let's give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. It just confirmed it. It's not for me. I don't like the car. I don't wanna say I get no enjoyment out of it, but when I'm faced with multiple options of what car to drive, I will never choose that car. The reason for that is it's just not my style. It's not my car. I don't enjoy driving it. That's more of like, it's just a different style. It's hard to explain. I really want to be careful about offending anyone here, but it's like, I don't know, like more of like a tuner, like you can modify a racer type thing where I like my crackles, I like the deep, mean rumbles, not like the sound in the GTR. It's just not my style. The interior is not me. So, every car is gonna relate with your personality. That's one thing I've been learning as I purchase cars. So the GTR specifically, here's something that I wanna touch on with finding deals on cars. Let's say, and this is something where I have greatly enjoyed, and I want to put this out there, I've greatly enjoyed the hunt and the pursuit of finding vehicles. Whether I end up purchasing them or whether I lose out on the deal, it was still fun and I learned a lot. So by utilizing websites, my connections, friends, certain car brokers, I get presented with good deals. It's not all are worth taking. You have to be able to filter them out, but I get presented with good deals frequently. So for me, it's fun to kind of chase that down, negotiate, study the market value, and see where can I make some money. Now, I do have to constantly remind myself, and this is just making me a little vulnerable, like a little scold on the wrist, I guess. If I spend 10 hours trying to track down, find, and acquire a car that might make me $2,000 in profit, I have to consider it like this. Was it worth spending those 10 hours to make potentially $2,000 later, when I know for a fact if I put 10 hours into my business, I'm going to make way more than $2,000 back? Now, obviously you can't work all the time. There has to be a level of doing something you enjoy, and I definitely enjoy finding the deals on the vehicles, and I love cars. As much as the GTR is not personally for me, it's a great car to drive. I have a lot of fun with it. One of my friends has a 1,200 horsepower GTR, another one has a 1,500, another one has a 2,400 horsepower to the wheel GTR. They're actually one of the fastest cars in the world. So it's a great car to drive. Mine's not that crazy. I explain it in the video. It's FBO, about 650 horsepower, and spits some gnarly flames. It's still fun, but it's just not me. So the way that I think about it, that car for me was a great pickup because of a few reasons. I bought that car because it was a good deal. I was gonna make a pretty good percentage return, fair and square. I wanted to give a GTR a chance. Again, a lot of my friends have them, so they were all like, get one. The deal was presented. I waited 2 months to get that right deal secured and locked down. So keep that in mind. So I was patient with it and I pursued it, and I don't think I spent a total of 10 hours on it, but was talking back and forth, figuring it out, studying the vehicle, studying the market, and then I sent out the wire for the car once we had made a deal. So it's really as simple as that, something where I was able to pick up a car that I'm gonna have fun with for a little while and then be able to sell for a profit. In the meantime, I can rack up miles on the car using it as a daily driver versus having to continue stacking miles on the Lamborghini, which depreciates it very heavily. Now, personally, it sounds like a great idea, but I usually end up taking whatever car I want, which usually ends up being the Lamborghini, just because in my opinion, it's much more fun. So, your car is gonna depreciate with the more miles you get on it, but when you buy certain cars correctly, I can go put 3, 4, 5,000 miles on the Audi R8 or on the GTR, and it's not gonna change its current value in the marketplace. So that's what I really like about it. That's why it's a great daily driver. Now, I know I mentioned it, the air conditioning in the R8, so like things of maintenance and repair, the R8 has been gone in the shop for about a week and a half, getting the entire air compressor redone, which is costing about $6,500. Thankfully, that is covered under warranty minus a $250 deductible. So that car had a problem. Not all vehicles you buy, unless they're new or fairly new, will have a warranty. So there are expenses that are gonna come up where you can't really predict it, which is kind of unfortunate. So now the GTR, the reason I mentioned, I can't show it to you right now, it's not even here, I haven't seen it in a week and a half, and I got it 2.5 weeks ago. I only had it for a week and it went back in the shop. There's just a slight little scratch in the front. The previous owner nicked the pole or the garage, just the smallest little thing, and we put it in the bill of sale that he has to fix that. So it went back in the shop, he's paying to get it fixed. It's a simple, super easy little couple $100 fix. So that's about to be done. I'll have the vehicle back. I'm gonna enjoy it for a few months, and if I decide to keep it, then so be it. I could keep that car for 8 months and probably break even. So I could drive a car for 8 months, I'd break even. Yes, I have to pay for gas. Yes, I have to pay for insurance. And in the 8-month period, I'd probably have to do one quick little maintenance. But you can severely cut the cost of owning a car, and not even just a regular car like a Nissan Sentra. We're talking about a sports car or even a supercar if you understand the market for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of that little insight into how I structure things with my cars. If you want to see a video where I talk about the legal structure of it, because there's kind of a big difference between just buying one car and being able to buy many cars, making it make sense, certain things before tax, after tax, business structure, LLCs, entities, all those different things. I can definitely talk about it. Again, I'm not a legal advisor, but I can give my own personal opinion on what I do and how and why it works. So let me know if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys dropped a like down below. Let me know what kind of car you want to get and how you're going to find a good deal for it in the comment section down below. For me, it's always about the finances first. Where I'm at right now, cars are fun. They're a great passion, a great hobby of mine. And in my free time, when I'm not working, sure, I would love to go find good deals for a car where it makes even more sense because I can make a little bit of money while having a great time, right? It makes perfect sense to me, but at the end of the day, the finance and the business is always primary. So I'm not gonna go get a crazy car. Even if I really want it, it's gonna lose me money. It's just not gonna happen. So that's where the studying it piece comes in. And I wanted to make this because I believe there's a lot of misconception about that. I always thought, oh, you go buy a Ferrari, you go to the dealership, you're gonna get it new, lose $100,000. That's how you do it, right? So I never really had any insight onto that, which is exactly why I wanted to make this video. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to drop a like down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Got a lot of fun stuff coming. You guys can go back a few weeks, just type in GTR or Audi R8 on the channel. You'll see those videos pop up as well. We had some fun incidents with the police in those review and the reveal videos, not the review, and just, a lot of fun stuff. So if you want to check out that content, we have some more entertaining content on the channel as well as primarily business content. So, talking about the businesses I run, the things I do that cash flow and fund all the, let's just say, fun investments, to say the least, like the cars. We also cover a lot of that on the channel. So again, hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. I'm always really active in there for a couple days after the video is posted. And with that being said, I'm posting 3 times a week on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure to tune back in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss another one. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.